Hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to the first match reaction of the season. I intended this to be live, but to be honest I just wanted to get it out the way before tonight's live stream, so tune into the channel for that one. But Liverpool have just lost 4-3 to Bayern Munich after a 2-0 lead. Luis Diaz scored a second half goal. Captain Virgil getting a nice goal on his debut as captain, and then you've of course got Gakpo with a screamer in the first 2 minutes. Now, going into the game, I never had no doubts about the attack. The same way I've had no doubts about the attack going into Leicester and other pre-season games. The doubt has always been centre-backs. And the biggest worry now as we exit this transfer window is that we're going to finish this window with 0 centre-backs. So I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below first and foremost. But guys, I'm a little bit sick of this. I'm sick of the way this club's being run. I'm sick of the fact that besides Edwards, we haven't really recruited well when it comes to the sporting director. And listen, the proof's in the pudding over recent signings. You know, what was the last signing that we made that exploded straight away? You know, from when Robbo was playing, Fabinho was playing, Van Dijk was playing, they made instant impacts. Whereas I think everybody else, you know, even Diaz to a degree, I believe Diaz will be good. I don't want this to be an agenda, and he had a big injury, and I think he was one of our, you know, star players up until that injury. But again, it just has not been the same level of recruitment ever since that Edwards left the club. Now, the point that I'm leading to necessarily is the fact we're about to go into a season in big 2023 with Matip and Gomez still as the centre-backs. And this isn't just off the back of a great season of Gomez and Matip playing well. You know, Matip had a great year in the quadruple chasing season. I don't think he was good at all last year. And I don't think he's been good at all any time he's played in pre-season. In fact, I think he's looked terrible. But then I don't look at anybody in that defence with any authoritative composure that's going to step in the front line and go, right, let's actually sort this shit out. And I get it's pre-season. I get it's not one to get too twisted and covered. But last season, we were worried about a midfielder. The season before that, we were worried about a centre-back. We're now back into the position where we need to get a centre-back. And I don't know how much more clear that you need to be on that. We've just went and conceded 4 horrible goals to Bayern Munich. And I know the Bayern Munich, and I know the world class, and I don't mind losing to Bayern Munich. I hate the fact we conceded 4 goals. If you told me, or if you tell me, if I'm the manager and I have standards, I'm thinking to myself, if we score 3, and you tell me we score 3 before the game, I'm expecting to win that game. Or at least draw if you're playing Bayern Munich. I do not expect to concede 4 goals under any circumstances. Now again, it's pre-season, things change and all that malarkey. But we were shite. In the first half, we were shite with the centre-backs that we chose. And then in the second half, it never got any better. So guys, the question that I propose, what's your expectation now going into a new season where we're likely not going to get a centre-back? Because who are we linked with? There's 2 weeks left. We haven't even got a midfielder and we need to get 2 of those. And then we haven't even been linked with a centre-back. Levi Colwill was the only one that we were linked with any somewhat substance. Inacio, I think we were linked with him at the beginning of the window. Otherwise, we haven't really been touched with it. And no reliable journalist has came out and said, yep, we're going to go and get this player and this fucker. The only one that was mentioned was Colwill. And of course, he's just signed a new deal with Chelsea. So that one's impossible to get now. And that's what's really annoyed me about this situation that's arisen. What's annoyed me is the lack of preparation. What's annoyed me is the poor recruitment on a football director level, because ever since Edwards, it's not been the same. So FSG need to be held accountable because they're the one who recruit the people of this football club from top to bottom. And there's so many things that's wrong. And even if the sporting director is getting things wrong on a transfer basis, then we need to look at the sporting director, but who employed them? FSG. Now we need to look at FSG for the fact they're making poor employment decisions that's affecting Liverpool as a business and also as a football team. And that's important. You know, we thrive on ourselves being a top football team. And I think going into this season, a lot anticipate maybe a title charge or something. I think with a defence like that, we'll be lucky to even get top 4 again. I see the way Chelsea are balling out in pre-season and the football they're playing. I see the way Arsenal are going out there and getting a backup goalkeeper when they don't fucking need one. Like, think about it. They're getting David Raya just for competition with Ramsdale. We can't even get our centre-backs competition. We can't even get our midfield competition. I saw a United fan tweet me before as well, and he was like, like, how has Klopp not sorted this defence with $1 billion to spend? Such a disingenuous comment, first and foremost, you know, when you consider the amount we've had to sell in that time. And at the same time, he's not the head of recruitment. I don't know how many times. I know that it doesn't fit your agenda, whoever the United fan was who messaged me. It doesn't fit your agenda. I know that it makes you feel better thinking we've spent more money than you in recent times, which isn't the case at all. What is the case is that Klopp isn't in charge of the ownership, and the ownership that are in charge of these ins and outs are scumbags, they're stingy, and it's not a victim mentality. A lot of clubs have got bad owners, but I can't stand our owners. I think they're fucking shit, mate. I think Klopp, I think we would have went without a Premier League with these owners and not Klopp. I think we would have went without a Champions League with these owners and not Klopp. Now, that's where we've got to give them credit. They recruited Klopp. But then if Klopp was so good, yeah, say if we hire Pep Guardiola and we've saw the level of work that Pep Guardiola has done with City, and in hindsight, Pep had won 1 Premier League and Champions League with us, but in this real world, we know, actually, he's got 5 Premier Leagues, you know what I mean? Like, he's actually a fucking hell of a manager, and he can get volume of trophies. I think Klopp could have had certainly more. I think if we got Diaz earlier that season, I think we're seeing ourselves lifting at least a treble, you know? Not the big treble, it could have been the FA Cup, League Cup and Prem, could have been anything. But if we have Diaz from get-go that season, who's to say that we won't get that extra point from somewhere with that extra firepower from the start of the year? Last year, with Gakpo, we never went out and accommodated the attacking position. And what happened? We massively suffered. Nunes came in and done shit. Gakpo came in and done amazing. But when did we get Gakpo? In January. So again, poor. And this season, devastatingly shit when it comes to Virgil van Dijk. Devastatingly shit. I don't care if he's worn an armband and he scored a goal. He's got to defend. And I have faith that he'll do well, but I'm just calling out his performance today. Shite. Matip, terrible. Absolutely dog's bollocks. Like giraffe's bollocks in this case. Trent Alexander-Arnold, no better. Systematically poor. But the individuals, no matter how good the system are not to the level no more. And I'm going to say that for all centre-backs. I think Konate, it'd be disingenuous to call Konate world-class right now. I think we need to wait to see Konate become world-class. I think it's massively disingenuous to think Matip's going to do anything good anytime soon. I think it's even more disingenuous to say that Virgil van Dijk's looked anything like himself over pre-season. And I know that there was people at the start of the game tweeting Van Dijk's back. Van Dijk's back to his old self. Nope. And he never even done anything directly wrong, but collectively poor. Robertson, poor. Everyone poor. And that's why I need to go on this video and let you know, like, listen, guys, I wouldn't be expecting big things from Liverpool this season. And not just from today. Today isn't my sole case study. My collective case study is a poor transfer window from the seams of it. Stingy owners, which seems to remain to be the case. Then I see the pre-season games where we're conceding 4 goals against Firth, and then we're conceding 4 goals against Bayern. What does that tell me? It tells me, okay, yes, we could concede 3 goals if we play Man City this season, but we could also concede 3 goals if we play fucking Bournemouth. So that's why I'm thinking, that's not good, that's not productive, and that doesn't elevate us as a team. And if we've got an ownership that's not trying to elevate us, that's a problem. And if we're going to sit there and blame Klopp, and if we're going to sit there and blame the players, that's bollocks. That's absolute bollocks. It's the ownership who recruit this football club to the way it is, and they don't even care. They care about the Red Sox more. And I'm just already kind of anticipating what's going to happen. I predicted we were going to get Europa League last year. Well, actually, I don't want to be too disingenuous. I think I said we're very likely to get Europa League last year. And I said, optimistically, I'll still say top 4. And I'm going to go with the same energy now. I'll optimistically hope that we get top 4. And I believe there is a world where this team can get top 4. That world is so perfect and so ideal. I'm talking 1 or 2 injuries away, and that hope is now gone. And we will probably get injuries when you know our track record. So when you consider the potential of injuries, when you consider the poor transfer window, terrible transfer window, when you consider the shite defending, when you consider the terrible God bollocks ownership, what you want, you know what I mean, what do you expect? This is going to be continuous throughout the season. And I enjoyed the transfer window. It was nice, you know what I mean? I enjoyed the talking about transfers and speculation, and I actually tried to have faith in FSG, and not blindly. I just thought, even based on what we believe about this football club, let's say if you agree to sell to buy, or we need to sell players to have a chance of bringing in players, which I agree with that sentiment. I saw we were linked with a midfielder before we sold Henderson and Fabinho. If we sell Henderson and Fabinho, there's no excuse for this ownership to go out and get 2 new midfielders who can actually improve us. Fabinho weren't going to improve us. Henderson weren't going to improve us. Now let's go and get 2 players who have that chance. So let's go from what was Lucas Leiva, and I don't know, friggin' who else do you want to throw in that equation? Who was in our midfield years ago, you know what I mean? Jay Speeden, to friggin', I don't know, Gini Wijnaldum and Fabinho, you know what I mean? It's like that type of idea where Lucas Leiva, when he was here, he was never going to take us forward. He was never going to get better, even if he was in good form. And I think Fabinho's too old to consider he was going to get better. So I thought it was productive to... It's like getting an iPhone 6 in 2018 for 400 quid, and you have an opportunity to sell the same iPhone 6 in 2023 for the same £400. I thought it was worth it. But of course, I had it in mind that we were going to go out and get a new player. If the circumstance was, would you sell Fabinho and not get a new player? Of course. But I expect a new CDM, or at least I expected. And I expected another centre midfielder on top of the CDM when those two players officially went, including Henderson. But now I'm sitting there and I'm thinking I'd rather a centre-back above anything. Our defence is terrible, chat. It really is poor. And I'm actually so seething for the fact it's a pre-season game, but it is what it is. And let me know your thoughts about the game. Am I being a bit too reactionary, or are we going to go and sign these players? I don't think there's any substance to say that we will. And yet maybe I've been a bit too optimistic when it comes to the ownership. Maybe I've trusted them too much, which I won't be making that mistake again. Because even I didn't believe they were going to be this stingy under these circumstances where they've just been given 50 mil. Turns out that's what they're going to do. So let me know what you think. Guys, thank you for watching this match reaction. Much love to you and your mothers, and I'll see you all in a bit. Peace.